Back in October, I reviewed Starlink for Nintendo Switch. In that review, I purposefully limited my references to Star Fox, despite Fox being a primary protagonist in Starlink. I did this for two reasons. Firstly, because it just seems like lazy journalism to describe a game by making surface level and oftentimes inaccurate comparisons, saying, this is Star Fox meets No Man's Sky, because Star Fox, and also, planets. Secondly, I felt it was disrespectful to the developers to shrug off the universe they had created and simply credit it all to Star Fox. We already did that to Rare, we don't need to do it to Ubisoft Toronto too. But now that it's been a bit and I've had my fun parading around on my journalistic high horse, well, here's how Starlink builds off the concepts of Star Fox 2 combined with modern influences like No Man's Sky to essentially make Star Fox 3. Now, at first glance, referring to Starlink as Star Fox 3 could be somewhat confusing. Firstly, because Fox is spelled F-O-X and not L-I-N-K. Secondly, because the numbering system of the Star Fox franchise is weird and confusing, so let's clarify. The original Star Fox came out on the Super Nintendo. It was a rail-line shooter, and for those of you just joining us, it's my favorite game of all time. The second Star Fox game, despite being developed in or around 1995, wasn't released until 2017, but still represents the true direct sequel to the original Star Fox. You see, Star Fox 2 continued the story and built off of the original Star Fox, and is its canon sequel. It was also developed by the same team at Argonaut that built the first Star Fox, whereas Star Fox 64, which was until recently considered to be the second Star Fox game, was developed by a different team, and rather than being a sequel, was a retelling of the original game, just like Star Fox Zero. Because Nintendo loves doing Star Fox origin stories. Seriously, it's like half of the franchise. So we ultimately have at least two Star Fox timelines, maybe more, depending on whether you consider Zero to be a replacement for 64 or its own timeline. So when I say that Starlink feels like Star Fox 3, I mean it goes here, right after Star Fox 2. It feels like a follow-up to the Argonaut timeline. Now, the clever among you may cut me off here and say that Star Fox Command is the true follow-up to Star Fox 2. Well, yes, Command was certainly influenced by 2, its game design is honestly a step backwards. It was an extreme simplification of Star Fox 2, whereas Starlink feels like the next logical step. Alright, now that we've got that cleared up, let's talk game design. At its core, Starlink is a sort of odd real-time strategy game. The action takes place across a huge map that encompasses multiple planets and the space between them. The Forgotten Legion deploys giant cruisers which in turn will occupy each of these planets. The map is always in motion, so while you're fighting off enemies on one planet, another is being invaded. Now let's flip over to Star Fox 2. Star Fox 2 is a sort of odd real-time strategy game. The action takes place across a huge map that encompasses multiple planets and the space between them. Andros deploys giant cruisers that will attack Corneria. The map is always in motion, so while you're fighting off enemies on one planet, another is launching a missile at Corneria. Seem familiar? Star Fox 2 and Starlink share almost all of the same core gameplay elements, and we're not even done yet. One of the most important advancements that Star Fox 2 made to the original Star Fox was the addition of full 3D movement rather than rail-line levels. The team took full advantage of this by letting you explore both in the air and on foot. You could instantly switch from flying over a planet to landing and exploring the surface. On planets, you defeat giant bosses and destroy enemy installations. You convinced yet? No? That's fine, we can keep going. In space, you'd encounter squadrons of enemy ships, along with powerful carriers called Cannon Betrayers, which is a way more original name than Dreadnoughts. Step up your game, Ubisoft. To destroy these carriers, you'd first have to fight off the enemies outside before making a daring run inside. Interestingly, the interior of the cruisers in Starlink actually feel more like classic Star Fox than the ones in Star Fox 2. Star Fox 2 also added the concept of multiple ships and pilots, each with their own stats. Back when I first played Star Fox 2, I was amazed by just how deep an experience it is, perfectly blending real-time strategy, exploration, and action. I noted how to this day no other game I'd played had accomplished or even really attempted the same thing, and yes, that includes Star Fox Command. That is, until I played Starlink. The parallels hit me immediately, and I was delighted to see someone pushing this design forward. That's the important distinction between Starlink and Star Fox Command. Star Fox Command took the strategic elements of Star Fox 2 but removed the depth of action and exploration. Starlink, on the other hand, takes all of these elements and pushes them out further. Unlike Star Fox 2, Starlink doesn't have you explore space with a map. Your journey from planet to planet is all handled in real time, unless you fast travel, of course. That being said, when you do open your galaxy map, it's hard not to see those similarities. This keeps the player engaged and turns what was ultimately a real-time level selector into an opportunity to enhance the feeling of place within the game world. It also offers up opportunities for exploration, which in Starlink means loot. The RPG elements that Starlink employs help to push the strategic elements of the design. Your pilot, your ship, and its weapons can all be upgraded and customized with XP and mods found by exploring. This makes the space between planets valuable. I commented in another game design rant that in Final Fantasy XV, the space between important areas ultimately served as a loading screen for the next event, and had no real place in the design. Dodging outlaws and asteroids while exploring wrecks makes space feel like part of the open world galaxy that Starlink presents, rather than a loading screen for the next planet. Star Fox 2's persistent world is still highly impressive for a Super Nintendo game. You may be fighting your way through an enemy base, but the cruiser on the other side of the Lilat system can still launch new fighters to attack Corneria. Starlink develops on this concept by allowing you to build up your alliance on every planet. Helping friendly outposts recruits them to your cause, and destroying enemy structures called imp hives allows you to create a variety of new building types, each with its own purpose. Each one of these buildings constructs units that move around the planet and engage in specific tasks, whether you're there or not. Armories in particular become crucial as you attempt to fight back Legion invaders. Swarms of friendly ships will defend the planet while you're off liberating another. Completing side quests on different planets raises your alliance level for that world. This makes these side quests important without forcing them on you. The game never says you can't go and explore another planet until you've built X number of outposts on this one, nor does it really tell you what kind to build. Unlike Star Fox 2, there is no home planet that must be defended, which means that a single mistake won't lead to a game over. No matter what you build, you are always rewarded in one way or another, encouraging the player to try different things without worrying about having to start over. Was Starlink directly influenced by Star Fox 2? I have no idea, but it's hard to ignore the strong parallels. And regardless, the advancement of Star Fox 2's game design is praiseworthy. Back when Star Fox 2 saw its official release on the SNES Classic, Neil Ronahan and I did a discussion video to express our feelings on the game. I commented that Nintendo could present the game design of Star Fox 2 with modern graphics, and nobody would have ever known it was a Super Nintendo game. I think Starlink kinda proves that. Star Fox 2 was an incredibly ahead of its time game, and it's just now that the rest of the games industry, whether intentional or not, is catching up. Even Nintendo themselves went off in an entirely different direction with the Star Fox franchise, but whether you call it Star Fox or not, Starlink certainly shows that there is value in continuing the Argonaut timeline of game design. Who knows? Maybe Nintendo should bring Ubisoft Toronto on board to develop a full Star Fox title.
Star Fox, you finally showed up. I was beginning to think you'd lost your touch.
But what do you think? Let me know down in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this video, give it a like. Consider subscribing to Nintendo World Report TV. You can also check out NintendoWorldReport.com for a whole lot more. There's a link to our Discord in the description, where you can join us in talking about all kinds of Nintendo-related things. If you want to join the awesome people who support us, you can check out patreon.com/NWR. Thanks very much for watching, and I will see you next time.